has the ideology of implementing and practicing Kiswahili as the international language used in Africa, I may ask, what is Kiswahili? Or Kiswahili ni nini? And I may answer that Kiswahili ni lugha ya mataifa inayotumiwa kama kiombo kia mawasiliano. Is the language that interrelates nations as a tool of communication.
Okay.
The common mistake we do is to pray for Africa as a continent. We should pray for Africans, not Africa.
Okay.
Because Africa was blessed the first day. It was named Al-Kebulan, the Garden of Eden. So, us Africans are the problem to our own continent.
Okay.
So we should pray for Africans, not Africa, because Africa was blessed the first day.
Pan-African mentorship program, for which you are now the young people's ambassador. I also give you a little book that contains some things that I have said, some quotations. And a book called The Leader, which is a translation of a book written by one of our board members, Madame Pauline Kerr. So, yes, so you will be our ambassador for young people throughout 40 countries in Africa. Yes. Thank you very much, and God bless you. You are now a man who will serve the continent of Africa, and I know that God will guide and protect you.
Amen.
Thank you. Thank you. So we'll put this here.
There is one thing, as I've mentioned before, to say the government gave us land for free, which has been colonized. But now the next stage which the government did, which is the best out of all, is the issuing out of title deeds. Title deeds means to say, I can now march into the bank and say, can I borrow with this? We are now bankable with that piece of paper. When you look at it, you might think it's a small piece of paper, but that paper is very crucial. It's unfortunate I didn't know that, but I could have brought and given you one. I have got I can witness. I'm the one who has always been issued with a title.
But East African community was very blessed with Mwalimu Julius Nyerere. That's why I said he was the pivotal figure, the turning point, the fulcrum of African unity, peace and love. May his soul continue to rest in eternal peace.
Yes.
As an African child, from the love and respect of our elders, surely we have a better plan for African unity.
This year, with God, no doubt in my life, I see my name crossing many more borders. I see better life than the previous year. I see more people standing with my opinions to success. Moon and sun, as the signs of day and night, are there to witness my progress. I pray for people who stand with me. I pray no harm for people who disagree.
This is the most viewed clip of African youth who is doing great things, inspiring millions of people and millions of African youths, who is making some Africans to go back to history. I'm showing you the video where he was with the First Lady of Kenya, Rachel Ruto. He was with Professor Pierre Lumumba. He was with the Zimbabwe President Dr. Mnangagwa, and many great African leaders, because he's being hosted by the great African leaders because of what he has in mind. If this kind of young dude this kind of African youth can be having that such kind of wisdom, that kind of a vision. And what he's just thinking of is only about the unity of Africa. What he's thinking about is the unity and seeing Africa being united, being developed, doing things that the world has been seen like Africa not do it. So
I think when I was born, I was so surprised to see Africa still like this. Ask the young people, how far have you moved towards the agenda of Kwame Nkrumah? How far have you moved towards the agenda of Julius Mwalimu Kambarage Nyerere? How far have you moved towards the agenda of Patrice Lumumba?
Of Congo.
Yes, of Congo. The late, who died in 1961. How far have you moved towards the agenda of other Pan-Africans like Thomas Sankara?
Which agenda in specific?
I mean the agenda of African unity.
What do these teach us? These teaches us that we know, the African visions was erased. The voices of Africans were silenced. They were killed, taken down, erased from the history, knowing maybe that Africa will not come to rise again. But now it has come to the time where now Africa has again arisen, and it is continuing to rise each and every day. We've seen a different African news coming out, and what they're trying to speak about is to only about the future of African continent, is only about the best African leadership, is only about the best of working and dealing with the imperialists, who are taking the vision of African down, because there's some people who came before, and what they were done to was not something that can be appreciated, or something that we can speak about, maybe feeling like something which is good, but it's all negative things.
So I am standing near the parliamentary building of Zimbabwe.
Okay.
So can someone tell my friend Julius Malema that I am here in Zimbabwe, that it is near South Africa, so there are possibilities of us to meet.
Okay.
Yes.
You want to meet him?
Yes, I want to meet him.
Why?
Because he shows great Pan-Africanism.
Okay.
A man of peace.
Man of peace.
Unity. And liberation.
Liberation.
Yes.
Thank you.
Let's first listen to this final speech of this guy.
This country shouldn't be where it is. This country shouldn't be in debt. There's no way. It is unjustifiable. I cannot, by the life in me, understand why we are where we are. I cannot. I refuse to embrace this unpleasant reality. I refuse. I am a persistent objector to this conventional and mundane existence. And yet we are sitting on trillions of dollars of mineral wealth. But it doesn't work. The Washington consensus is absolute nonsense. Don't come to me and tell me government must not get involved in the arena of production. No, I don't care from what school of economics you get it from, Chicago school, whatever. No, it's absolute nonsense. It doesn't work. And it will not work here. So let's try something we may even not know. Because the knowledge economy is an experimental.
Welcome back. And this is one of the thing that we as Africans of today we have to base and focus on, because when you come here in Africa, Africa has everything. That's the fact. Africa has everything that you deserve maybe to do with your life. So when we can maybe make Africa produce the great things, Africa we create more jobs, jobs opportunity. Then we work with our own education system and everything that belongs to Africa. This can make Africa to create more jobs, and no African will be going crossing the borders, crossing oceans to go and look for life. So this is the major agenda that we have to deal with. This is the major problem that is affecting African continent, and this is what is making some people to take advantages in Africa.
We should develop our own countries, our own African countries. How are we going to develop it? By uniting. After getting united, you will start finding trade businesses. Maize from this land, East African region, going to the North African region. From here, fuel, what. Trade is going to be easy, and there is no need to go abroad for jobs and everything. We have everything in Africa. What don't we have?
Just because they know that Africans, they have a lot of things that they lack in their life. So because they're offering some opportunities for the Africans to go and do to their lands, that's why they're still taking Africans as inferiors. So what I can say is that if the African youth can be coming out this time as have such visions, this means that we as Africans, we have some things we have to do. We have a lot that we have to deal with, because the African leaders which we are having today, they are not bothered of what is happening. When some people comes out to work on the things that can be positively affect Africans and can help Africans, then there are some African leaders who are coming out. They fight against these leaders who are coming to safeguard the visions of African continent, who are coming to work with the agendas, ideas, and visions of Africa to make African continent great, to make African people live well, experience the best life in Africa. Then these are the leaders that we are fighting back, so that we make sure that we erase them from the history of the leadership of Africa. This guy or this kid, he know a lot of history that most of us, we don't know. That the fact that we have to agree about this. He know a lot of history that most of us, we don't know. And this is not just the vision that we can say, this is not that the genius or the mind that we can say that this boy has get from school, because in our schools there are major things like the history of Africa we never thought of.
Asking whether you go to school.
Yes, I do go to school.
So where do you go to school?
I go to El Desanga Primary School in Uganda.
Is it the best school in Uganda?
Not the best school in nature, but it's the best school in nurturing.
So what do you mean by nurturing?
Nurturing, like El Desanga Primary School is nurturing me to be a leader.
Okay, so if you become the president of the United States of Africa, I may as well be the governor of Zimbabwe.
Yes.
All that we are being taught is about the history of some people, some say the history of America, Europe, British. We are learning the history of Britain in Africa. So what can this help African child? Because when you grow up knowing the history of Britain, knowing the history of France, knowing the history of Asia, and you are in Africa, and maybe you may end up without stepping in those countries that you know the history of it. So instead of us focusing on the curriculum of Africa, we know the things that affect Africa, we know our history. Then because they erased the history of Africa, they taken away everything from Africa. Now they don't want to see Africans associating with their own. They want us to associate with their culture, with their everything. And that's why they have been taking advantage to us, because they already captured Africa. They captured everything that Africa depend on. So that's the weakness they did. And because they divided Africa, they conquered Africa, and they introduced their own things so that we can rely on, we can only base on their things. That's when they manage to capture Africa, they control Africa, they do everything to us. So this is the time when Africa unites, then it means that we are going to have same agendas, we are going to have same visions, we are going to have same ideas. Because if not united, then we cannot be speaking one thing. There are some people who will be speaking on their own and the others speaking on their own. So it's very difficult, and it's very rare. It will be very difficult to find Africans coming together to decide one thing, to discuss one agenda on how they can take away or they can break in this chain of imperialism, of manipulation, of brainwash. Because a lot has happened here in Africa, which we believe that it's the reason as to why today we are still coming here to speak the same things. We are still coming here to speak about the new colonization. But this is the time now we have to end this, because this is the time that we have to focus on what we want, because there is no any other time. So until we do this, and that's why I said that I call this a new Kwame Nkrumah, because he all speak about like Kwame Nkrumah, because what he's speaking about, the visions and everything, this is what Kwame Nkrumah was speaking about. This is what Kwame Nkrumah was speaking about. So when I hear such a great living words or from such a kind of young guy, I feel like I'm listening to the voice of the great Pan-Africanist like Kwame Nkrumah. So this is the revival and the emerge of new Pan-Africanists who we felt like they were taken down, but they're still coming through some people to the African youth to deliver their message, to deliver their vision.
I was surprised to see that our professor is somebody who knows so much about Solito.
No Solito.
The reason why I make more research is to even exceed our professor.
You want to exceed a professor?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So, because Africa is a large continent, and I want to manage it soon.
Hey, you want to manage Africa soon?
That's why I make more research.